You felt it this morning. That moment when you reached into the cabinet for your usual snack, the one you've been eating for years, the one you chose because someone told you it was healthy, and something in the back of your mind whispered, "Why don't I feel better?" You're doing the right things, you're reading the labels, you're skipping the chips and the cookies, and still something isn't adding up. Today I'm going to count down 8 seeds, 4 that are quietly working against your body right now, and 4 that can genuinely change the direction of your health in the next 60 days. We go from number 8 down to number 1, and number 1 is the one that surprised even me after decades of clinical practice. Stay with me through all 8. Both lists matter equally. And by the time we get to number 1, you'll understand something about your body after 60 that most doctors never take the time to explain. My name is Dr. Jane. I've spent over 30 years working in internal medicine. And before we go any further, I want to say something directly to you. If you've been doing everything you were told, eating well, staying active, taking your medications, and you still don't feel the way you expected to feel at this stage of life, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not imagining it, and it is not your fault. The problem is that most of the nutritional advice floating around out there was written for a body that is 35 years old, a body that detoxifies efficiently, a body whose kidneys filter at full speed, a body whose inflammation response is still young and predictable. That is not the body you are living in right now, and I mean that with complete respect, because the body you are living in right now is capable of extraordinary things, but it operates by different rules that almost nobody is talking about. That gap between the generic advice and what your body actually needs after 60 is exactly why I made this video. I'm going to count them down from 8 to 1, the 4 seeds to reconsider, and the 4 that can genuinely protect your heart, your brain, your joints, and your sleep. Number 1 is the one that changes everything. Let's start. Before we dive in, if you're finding this useful, take 2 seconds right now, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video, and give this a thumbs up. It genuinely helps more people like you find this content. And drop a comment below, tell me what country you're watching from. I'd love to know where our community is tuning in from around the world. Hold on a second. Before we go any further, I've put something together for you. It's called the Glucose Paradox. It's a free guide on blood sugar and diabetes, and you can grab it for free through the link in the description. I'm telling you this now because I want you to finish this video with a concrete tool in your hands. To get it right away, just click the link in the description, head over to my site, and drop your email. You'll receive the guide in your inbox a few minutes later. But I don't want to take up any more of your time. Let's get back to the video. Let's begin with the 4 seeds that are doing real, measurable good for the body you have right now, not the body you had at 40, the one you're in today. Number 8, and this one surprises almost everyone when I mention it, is flaxseed. Here's the symptom I want you to think about first. You've noticed your joints. Not dramatic, screaming pain, more like a slow stiffness that greets you in the morning and takes a while to ease up. You get out of bed, and your knees feel older than you do. You sit at the table for dinner, and when you stand up, there's a moment, just a moment, where your body protests. You've probably written it off as just part of getting older, and maybe your doctor mentioned inflammation without really explaining what that word means for your day-to-day life. Here's what's actually happening. Think of inflammation like a slow, invisible fire burning in a room you never enter. You don't see the flames, you don't smell the smoke, but over time, the walls are weakening. That quiet fire is called chronic low-grade inflammation, and it is one of the primary mechanisms behind joint stiffness, arterial damage, cognitive decline, and the kind of fatigue that sleep doesn't seem to fix. And one of the most powerful ways to turn down that fire is through a specific type of fat called ALA, alpha-linolenic acid, which is an omega-3 fatty acid your body uses to calm the inflammatory pathways that have been quietly running hot for years. Flaxseed is one of the richest sources of ALA on Earth, not fish, not expensive supplements. A tablespoon of ground flaxseed that costs almost nothing and can be stirred into your oatmeal in 10 seconds. But flaxseed doesn't stop there. It contains plant compounds called lignans. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Oncology found that women after menopause who consumed lignans regularly had significantly better cardiovascular outcomes than those who didn't. Not marginally better, significantly. And the soluble fiber in flaxseed does something else that matters enormously for anyone whose doctor has mentioned blood sugar. It slows glucose absorption into the bloodstream, smoothing out those spikes and crashes that affect your energy, your mood, and your long-term metabolic health. One thing I need you to remember: buy it ground, not whole. A whole flaxseed passes through your digestive system almost completely undigested. The outer shell is too tough for the aging gut to break down efficiently. Ground flaxseed, 1 tablespoon per day, stirred into something you already eat. Store it in the refrigerator after opening, because the oils oxidize at room temperature. That's it. 1 tablespoon, 1 habit, and the joint stiffness that has been greeting you every morning may within weeks begin to change. That's number 8, and we're just getting started. Number 7 is pumpkin seeds, and I want you to hold a specific symptom in your mind as we talk about this one. Think about your sleep. Not sleep as a concept, your actual sleep. The past few nights. How many times did you wake up? Did you lie there at 3 in the morning with your mind running, or your legs restless, or a bathroom trip that pulled you out of a sleep you were struggling to find in the first place? And in the morning, did you feel genuinely rested, or did you feel like you'd fought the night rather than slept through it? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. I hear some version of this from the majority of patients over 60 who sit across from me in clinic. And the most common response, because it's the obvious one, is to reach for a melatonin supplement, which makes complete sense. After 60, your body produces significantly less melatonin on its own, and your sleep cycle suffers for it. But here's something most people are never told. There is a nutrient called tryptophan. You've probably heard of it in relation to Thanksgiving turkey. And tryptophan is the raw material your body uses to build serotonin, which then converts into melatonin. The pathway is already inside you. It just needs the right input to work. Pumpkin seeds are one of the most concentrated dietary sources of tryptophan available. A small handful in the evening, genuinely a small handful, you don't need a cup, can support deeper, more restful sleep through your own biology. Not a supplement, not a prescription. Your body doing what it was designed to do, given the right raw material. For men specifically, and this is something mainstream health content almost never touches, pumpkin seeds contain zinc and plant sterols that have been shown in clinical research to reduce the symptoms of benign prostate enlargement. A study published in the Journal of Medicinal Food found that men taking pumpkin seed oil experienced significant reductions in nighttime urination and urinary urgency over 12 weeks. If you've been waking up 2 or 3 times a night, and you've just accepted it as part of aging, this information is worth having. It doesn't have to be the rest of your life. For women, pumpkin seeds deliver magnesium, and magnesium is one of the most critical minerals for bone density at a stage of life when bone loss accelerates. More than half of adults over 60 are magnesium deficient. Most of them don't know it. And magnesium deficiency is directly linked to muscle cramps, anxiety, irregular heartbeat, and elevated blood pressure. Food-based magnesium from pumpkin seeds absorbs more gradually and reliably than supplements, and it doesn't cause the digestive disruption that magnesium pills often trigger. 1 ounce of raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds per day, on a salad, in a soup, as an evening snack. Skip the salted packaged versions. The sodium content in commercial pumpkin seeds erases much of the cardiovascular benefit you're trying to build. Sleep, prostate health, bone density, blood pressure. 1 small seed. That's number 7. Number 6 is sesame seeds. And I want you to start this section by thinking about your bones, specifically about what you've been told about your bones. Chances are, for most of your adult life, you've been told that calcium means dairy, milk, yogurt, cheese, and dairy does provide calcium. That part is true. But here is something that should fundamentally change how you think about bone health. And I wish someone had put it this clearly for patients 30 years ago. 1 tablespoon of sesame seeds contains more bioavailable calcium than a full glass of milk. Now pause on that for a moment. Because the important word there isn't calcium, it's bioavailable. Here is why that difference matters enormously. Think of calcium like a building material, bricks, let's say. Your bones need bricks, but bricks alone don't build a house. You need scaffolding, mortar, workers who know what to do with the materials. In your body, magnesium and zinc are the scaffolding. They are the minerals that tell calcium where to go and help your body actually incorporate it into bone matrix. Without them, calcium doesn't know where to park. And when calcium doesn't go into bone, it sometimes drifts into your arteries instead, contributing to arterial calcification, stiffening the vessels that your heart depends on. This is one of the most important and least discussed insights in senior nutrition. Getting calcium from dairy without the cofactors means you might be building plaque in your arteries while your bones remain underfed. Sesame seeds deliver calcium alongside magnesium and zinc in a natural ratio that your body recognizes and can actually use. But sesame seeds go further. They contain a compound called sesamine, unique to sesame, found almost nowhere else in the food supply. Research published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry found that sesamine reduces blood pressure by directly decreasing tension in the walls of your arteries. For someone already managing hypertension, that is not a trivial effect. That is a meaningful, food-based contribution, working in the same direction as your medication, and in some cases, helping your medication do its job more effectively. Sesame seeds are also rich in vitamin E, a fat-soluble antioxidant that protects the membranes of brain cells from the oxidative damage that accumulates with age and is directly linked to memory decline. You cannot see oxidative damage happening. It is silent and slow, but it is measurable over time, and vitamin E from food is one of the tools that slows it down. The easiest way to get this is tahini ground sesame paste. 1 tablespoon stirred into a salad dressing, spread on whole grain toast, mixed into a warm soup. You barely taste it, but your bones, your blood pressure, and your brain are receiving something they genuinely need. 2 tablespoons per day. That is your target. That's number 6. Now we move to number 5. And before I tell you about number 5, I want to tell you about Margaret. Margaret was 67 years old when she first came to see me. She lived in Tucson, Arizona, and she was the kind of patient who arrived with a folder, blood test printouts, a list of her medications, notes from her previous appointments. She was meticulous. She was doing everything right, or trying to. She exercised 3 times a week. She had eliminated red meat. She cooked at home, and she was miserable. Not dramatically miserable. She was too sensible for that. But she sat across from me with this quiet exhaustion that I've learnt to recognize. She said, "Dr. Jane, I don't understand. My numbers aren't terrible. My doctor says I'm doing fine, but I don't feel fine. My memory is slower. I'm tired in a way that doesn't improve with rest. And my blood pressure keeps creeping up, even though I'm on medication." She paused. Then she said, "I feel like my body is running on the wrong fuel, but I don't know what the right fuel is." That phrase stayed with me, running on the wrong fuel, because that is exactly what was happening, and the answer was hiding somewhere she would never have thought to look. We'll come back to Margaret. Her story ends somewhere important. Number 5 is pomegranate seeds, and the symptom I want you to focus on here is your heart. Not a dramatic symptom, but a quiet one you may have noticed without naming it. A slight shortness of breath going upstairs that wasn't there 5 years ago. A heart rate that feels less steady than it used to. Maybe a number on your blood pressure monitor that keeps trending in the wrong direction despite your best efforts. What if I told you that there is a food, not a supplement, not a prescription, that has been shown in peer-reviewed research to produce measurable reversal of arterial plaque accumulation in patients with documented coronary artery disease? Not slowing of progression. Reversal, a landmark study at the Preventive Medicine Research Institute, followed patients with confirmed coronary artery disease who consumed pomegranate daily for 1 year. At the end of that year, imaging showed measurable reversal of plaque. The arteries were actually clearing. That is not language I use lightly. I am not prone to hyperbole about food. But the research on pomegranate is among the most compelling in nutritional cardiology, and it deserves to be said clearly. The compounds responsible are called punicalagins, unique to pomegranate, found essentially nowhere else in the food supply. They reduce inflammation directly inside the arterial wall. They lower LDL oxidation, which is the process that transforms cholesterol from a neutral passenger into an active problem, and they improve blood flow to the heart in ways that are measurable on clinical testing. For the brain, pomegranate polyphenols do something that most antioxidants cannot. They cross the blood-brain barrier. This matters because the neuroinflammation linked to Alzheimer's disease and cognitive decline happens inside the brain, and most compounds circulating in your blood never reach it. Research published in Evidence-Based Complementary and Alternative Medicine found that older adults who consumed pomegranate daily showed significant improvements in verbal and visual memory tasks within 28 days, not 6 months, 28 days. One important note, and I want to be direct about this. If you are on statin medication for cholesterol, pomegranate can interact with those drugs, similarly to grapefruit, by affecting the enzyme your liver uses to process the medication. This does not mean avoid it. It means mention it to your physician so they can monitor your levels appropriately. That 30-second conversation is worth having for everything this seed can do for your heart and your brain. Fresh pomegranate seeds, a few ounces daily, are ideal when they're in season. When they're not, 100% pomegranate juice with no added sugar delivers comparable benefits. Skip the capsules. The research is built on the whole food, not the extract. That is number 5. And we are now halfway through this list. You might be thinking this all sounds compelling, but I already take a multivitamin. Doesn't that cover most of this? The short answer is almost certainly no. And here's why. Multivitamins deliver isolated nutrients in synthetic form, at doses calibrated for population averages, without the cofactors and companion compounds that make food-based nutrients actually work in your body. The sesamin in sesame seeds doesn't exist in a multivitamin. The punicalagins in pomegranate seeds don't exist in a capsule. The specific lignans in flaxseed that interact with your cardiovascular system, those are whole food compounds that no supplement manufacturer has been able to reliably isolate and deliver. Food is not just a collection of nutrients, it is a biological system, and your body, especially after 60, recognizes the difference. Now, I promised you an open loop at the beginning of this video. A question I would answer before the end. Here it is. If the seeds I've just described are so powerful, why does almost no one over 60 know about them? The answer to that question is coming. It connects directly to number 1 on our list. Hold on to it. Now let's talk about the seeds I need you to reconsider. Not because they are inherently evil, not because you should be afraid of them, but because the way they interact with an aging body, and particularly with the medications many of you are already taking, is something you genuinely deserve to know, and almost no one is telling you. Number 4 on the seeds to reconsider is commercially roasted sunflower seeds. Before I continue, I want to be precise. Raw, unsalted sunflower seeds are genuinely nutritious. They deliver vitamin E, magnesium, selenium, and plant sterols that support cardiovascular health. The seed itself is not the problem. What happens to it on the way to the store shelf is the problem. Here's the symptom to keep in mind. Think about the last time your blood pressure numbers came back higher than expected, even though you've been careful, even though you're on medication, even though you've been reaching for the snacks on the healthy aisle. You did everything right, and the number still crept up. Something is working against you, and you don't know what. Commercially roasted sunflower seeds are almost always processed in industrial seed oils, canola, soybean, corn, that are extracted under high heat and chemical solvents. By the time those oils reach the processing facility, they are already oxidized, chemically damaged. And when those damaged fats coat your sunflower seeds and get heated again during the roasting process, you end up consuming a significant load of oxidized lipids that promote inflammation directly in the walls of your arteries. This matters more at 60 than it did at 40, for a specific biological reason. After 60, your liver's detoxification capacity operates at a fraction of what it once was. Your kidneys filter more slowly. Your body's ability to neutralize oxidative stress, which is essentially the damage caused by these altered fats, is genuinely diminished. The same exposure that your 40-year-old self processed and cleared may now accumulate in ways that quietly drive arterial inflammation over weeks and months. On top of that, most commercial sunflower seed packages contain more than 300 milligrams of sodium per serving. For someone managing hypertension, and the majority of adults over 60 are, that sodium load is working directly against the cardiovascular benefit you thought you were getting. The fix is simple and inexpensive. Buy raw, unsalted sunflower seeds. Read the label. If it says roasted in oil, put it back on the shelf. The seed is not your enemy. The processing is. That is number 4. Number 3 is chia seeds. And I want to be especially careful here, because chia seeds used correctly are genuinely beneficial for older adults. But used incorrectly, there are 2 specific risks that I have seen cause real problems in clinical practice, and they are almost never discussed in health content. The symptom I want you to picture is dizziness. Not severe, spinning vertigo, more like that unsteady feeling when you stand up too quickly from the couch. That slight wobble, that moment where you reach for the back of a chair or the wall just to steady yourself. You've probably experienced it. You may have mentioned it to your doctor and been told it's just orthostatic hypotension, a drop in blood pressure when you change positions. If you're on blood pressure medication, you may have been told to stand up slowly, which is good advice. But there's something else that may be contributing that no one has mentioned. Chia seeds genuinely lower blood pressure. That is a real, documented, beneficial effect. But if you are already taking antihypertensive medication, adding chia seeds daily creates a compounding effect that your medication was not originally calibrated for. Your blood pressure can drop lower than intended. And for older adults who are already prone to that positional dizziness I described, the kind that happens when you stand up from a chair, that combination meaningfully increases your fall risk. Falls are the leading cause of injury-related death in adults over 65 in the United States. I am not saying that to frighten you. I am saying it because the fall that happens in the kitchen at 6 in the morning, because your blood pressure dropped unexpectedly, is not random bad luck. It is a preventable event. And knowing that chia seeds interact with blood pressure medications is the kind of information that could literally save your life. The second risk involves swallowing. When dry chia seeds contact moisture in your throat or esophagus, they begin forming a gel almost immediately. For adults with any difficulty swallowing, which becomes more common after 60, and is very common after a stroke or any neurological event, dry chia seeds can form a partial obstruction in the esophagus. This is documented in medical case reports and has required emergency intervention. The fix for both risks is the same. Always soak your chia seeds before consuming them. 2 tablespoons in water for at least 20 minutes. The gel forms in the glass, not in your throat. And if you're on blood pressure medication, have a brief conversation with your physician about adding chia seeds to your daily routine so your dosage can be monitored appropriately. The seed is not your enemy. Dry consumption and unmonitored introduction are, that is number 3. Number 2 is flaxseed consumed in excessive amounts. I know, I recommended flaxseed at number 8 on the beneficial list. I stand by that completely, at the right dose. But flaxseed is one of the clearest illustrations in all of nutrition of a principle I try to teach every patient. The dose makes the medicine, and the dose makes the poison. The symptom I want you to notice here is subtler than most of what we've discussed today. Think about your energy levels in the afternoon. Think about whether you've noticed moments of unusual fatigue, slight shakiness, or a foggy heaviness that you couldn't explain and that didn't seem connected to anything you ate. If you are on any medication that affects blood sugar, metformin, insulin, or similar drugs, and if you've been consuming large amounts of flaxseed, there is a documented interaction that most people are never warned about. Research has confirmed that flaxseed amplifies the blood glucose lowering effect of diabetic medications. At 1 to 2 tablespoons per day, this is not a problem. In fact, the glucose stabilizing effect of flaxseed's soluble fiber is a genuine benefit. But at 3, 4, or 5 tablespoons per day, quantities that some wellness websites actively recommend, which I find deeply concerning, the amplification of medication effect can push blood sugar into a low range before you feel any warning signal. Here's why this is particularly serious after 60. The physiological warning signs of low blood sugar, the shakiness, the sweating, the racing heart that would alert a younger person to the problem are often blunted in older adults. The signals that should tell your body your glucose is dropping, eat something, arrive late, or not at all. By the time you feel it, you may already be in a range that affects your coordination and your judgment. 1 to 2 tablespoons per day. That is your safe zone and your effective zone simultaneously. More is genuinely not better. If you are on any blood sugar medication, mention your flaxseed intake to your doctor at your next appointment. It is a 30-second conversation that matters. That is number 2. And here we are. Number 1. The one affecting more people over 60 than anything else I've mentioned today, and the one that almost no one is talking about. This is also the answer to the question I asked you to hold on to earlier. Why does so much of this powerful information about seeds never reach the people who need it? Commercially refined seed oils. These are not sitting in a bowl on your kitchen counter. You are not choosing them consciously, but they are inside almost everything you buy. Canola oil, soybean oil, corn oil, cottonseed oil, anything labeled vegetable oil on an ingredient list. And here is the part that matters most. The products they're hiding inside are often the ones you've been choosing precisely because you thought they were the healthy option. The symptom I want you to sit with is this. Think about a period of time, 6 months, a year, when you were doing everything your doctor recommended, eating the whole grain crackers, choosing the heart-healthy salad dressing, ordering the grilled item at the restaurant instead of the fried one, cooking at home, and still feeling like the inflammation in your body wasn't going down, still feeling the stiffness, still watching the blood pressure numbers stay stubbornly high, still wondering what you were missing. This is what you were missing. Refined seed oils are extracted from seeds through a process involving extremely high heat and chemical solvents. The resulting product is chemically different from the seed it came from. It has a massively imbalanced ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids, and it contains significant amounts of already oxidized fat, created during the extraction process itself, before the oil ever reaches a store shelf. Think of your arteries as a river. A healthy river moves freely. Oxidized fats are like small pieces of debris that cling to the banks of that river, catching more debris, building up over time, gradually narrowing the channel. The arterial inflammation that results from a diet high in refined seed oils is not something you can feel on Tuesday and trace back to Monday's dinner. It is silent, it is cumulative, and it is now understood by cardiovascular researchers to be one of the primary mechanisms driving arterial plaque accumulation in aging adults. Here is what troubles me most about this, and it connects directly to the question I asked you to hold. These oils are inside the salad dressings labeled heart healthy. They are in the whole grain crackers your doctor recommended as a good snack. They are in the restaurant meals you've been choosing as the safe option for years. They don't say seed oil, they say vegetable oil. And millions of older adults who are doing everything else exactly right are consuming them in significant quantities every single day, and then wondering why they still don't feel well. The reason so much powerful nutritional information never reaches the people who need it is not conspiracy, it is commerce. The food industry has enormous incentive to use these oils because they are cheap, they have a long shelf life, and the word vegetable makes them sound like a health choice. The labels are not lying, exactly. They are simply not telling you what they are not required to tell you. There is also a medication interaction that almost no one discusses. The severe omega-6 to omega-3 imbalance, created by a diet high in refined seed oils, directly affects how your body metabolizes certain anti-inflammatory medications, including common drugs for arthritis and joint pain. Research published in the British Journal of Pharmacology documented that elevated omega-6 levels can reduce the effectiveness of NSAIDs and certain cardiovascular drugs by competing for the same metabolic pathways. The medication your doctor prescribed may be working at a fraction of its intended capacity, not because the drug is wrong, because of what you've been cooking with. I am not asking you to overhaul your entire kitchen today. I am asking you to make one specific, manageable swap. Replace vegetable oil and canola oil in your home cooking with extra virgin olive oil for low to medium heat. and avocado oil for higher heat. Those are 2 bottles. That is the entire change. And it may be the highest impact dietary decision you make this entire year. That is number 1. And now you know the answer to the question I asked you to hold. The information that could help you most is often hidden, not by accident, but by industry economics, which is exactly why videos like this one exist. Now, before I bring this home, I want to come back to Margaret. Remember Margaret from Tucson? 67 years old, meticulous folder, quiet exhaustion, running on the wrong fuel, she said. When we went through her diet carefully, 2 things emerged. She had switched to a widely advertised heart-healthy cooking oil 2 years earlier, a vegetable oil blend marketed for its light taste and low saturated fat. And she had been eating commercially roasted sunflower seeds as her afternoon snack every day for about 18 months, because she'd read they were a good source of vitamin E. Both of those choices were made in good faith. Both of them for her specific body, her specific medications, and her specific stage of life were working quietly against her. We made 2 changes. We replaced the vegetable oil blend with extra virgin olive oil for everyday cooking and avocado oil when she needed higher heat. We switched her afternoon snack from the commercial roasted sunflower seeds to a small handful of raw pumpkin seeds. We added 2 tablespoons of tahini to her daily routine, stirred into her lunch or spread on her afternoon toast. And we added a tablespoon of ground flaxseed to her morning yogurt. That was it. No dramatic protocol, no expensive supplements. 4 small, practical, affordable changes. 6 weeks later, she came back in. And before I could ask her how she was doing, she said, "I feel like someone turned the lights back on." Her blood pressure readings had improved enough that her physician was discussing a careful reduction in dosage. Her morning stiffness, which she had fully accepted as her permanent reality, had noticeably decreased, and she was sleeping through the night for the first time in nearly 2 years. I feel like someone turned the lights back on. I have thought about that phrase many times since, because that is what I want for you. Not a dramatic transformation story, not a miracle, just the lights back on. Here is what I want you to walk away with today. Not a complicated protocol, not a list of 20 things to do before breakfast. 3 specific, manageable, affordable changes. Add ground flaxseed, 1 tablespoon to something you already eat each morning, your oatmeal, your yogurt, a smoothie. It will take you 10 seconds. Add either tahini or fresh pomegranate seeds to your routine, 3 to 5 times per week. Both are available in any grocery store. Neither requires cooking. Replace vegetable oil and canola oil in your home kitchen with extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil. 2 bottles, 1 swap, the single highest impact change from this entire video. And if you are on any prescription medication, blood pressure, cholesterol, blood thinners, blood sugar, bring up what you learnt today at your next appointment. Not because you need permission to eat well, but because some of these food-medication interactions are worth monitoring, and your physician deserves to know what you're doing so they can support you properly. 1 conversation. That is all. You came into this video perhaps feeling like you'd been doing everything right, and still something wasn't working. You weren't imagining it. The information you were missing was real, and now you have it. The morning stiffness that has been greeting you isn't a life sentence. The blood pressure that keeps creeping up despite your efforts has a reason, and you now understand it. The fatigue that sleep doesn't fix has a mechanism, and you now know where to look. The lights can come back on. I've seen it happen more times than I can count, in people who had given up expecting it. And the very fact that you watched this entire video tells me something important about you. You haven't given up. You're still asking questions. You're still looking for the right information. That instinct, that willingness to keep searching, is exactly what makes the difference. Take good care of yourself. You have earned it. And hey, if you made it all the way here, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Hit the like button to let me know this was worth your time. And leave a comment below. Tell me what country you're watching from. Seriously, I read every single one, and it means a lot to see how far this community reaches. You know what the problem is with diabetes and high blood sugar? Most people find out way too late, and by the time they do, they have no idea where to even start. That's why I decided to create a free guide. It's called the Glucose Paradox, and inside, you'll find everything you wish you'd known sooner. I'll explain how blood sugar actually works, and why your body sometimes reacts the exact opposite way you'd expect. That's why it's called a paradox. I've also included concrete habits you can start changing right now, even if you know zero about nutrition or medicine. It's free, you can download it in a second, and it might be the single most useful thing you do for your health today. Just click the link in the description to head to the site, drop your email, and get the guide sent straight to you. Don't put this off.